Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to crack open a speech that's nearly 2,000 years old. But this isn't just a history lesson, not at all. We're digging in to uncover a timeless and seriously powerful blueprint for effective communication. So, let's kick things off with a challenge that is just universal. It doesn't matter if you're in a boardroom pitching a new product, or at the dinner table debating an idea, or even trying to change the world. This is the fundamental obstacle you always have to overcome. To find the answer to that question, we're going to look at a pretty fascinating case study from the 1st century. We're talking about a speaker who faced the absolute ultimate communication test, with everything on the line. Now, there were a lot of big speeches in this era, right? You had Peter's proclamation at Pentecost, Stephen's defiant defense before the Sanhedrin, but our source material really zooms in on this one specific sermon by the Apostle Paul in Pisidian Antioch, because it's seen as a classic, textbook example of persuasive strategy. Okay, let's really set the scene here, because the stakes were just incredibly high. You've got Paul, who's basically an outsider, and he gets an invitation to speak in a synagogue. His audience, they're traditional, their whole identity is built on centuries of history and scripture, and his big task is to introduce a concept, Jesus as the Messiah, that's totally new and, for them, maybe even offensive. So, how did he do it? He didn't just stand up and declare his radical idea right off the bat. No way. Instead, what the source shows us is that he used this very deliberate and really effective two-step rhetorical strategy. His first move was just absolutely crucial. Before he tried to introduce anything new, he had to establish a connection. He had to build a foundation of trust. And just listen to his choice of words here. It's so intentional. He immediately frames the whole conversation around us and our. By calling them brothers and talking about our ancestors, he's not an outsider lecturing them anymore. He's making himself part of the family, telling their shared story. This was his whole method. He wasn't talking at them. He was positioning himself as one of them. By bringing up their shared God, their ancestors, their foundational stories, he was sending a really clear message. I'm one of you. I understand your story because it's my story too. So once that foundation of shared identity was firmly in place, then, and only then, could he start the second step, building a bridge from their known past to his very unknown idea. And this right here gets to the heart of the whole strategy. A direct approach would have been rejected immediately. The source points out that his core message was a strange concept to them. He couldn't lead with that. So instead, he had to start with what they already knew and believed, which was God. From that point, he could build a logical path. You can see the huge difference here, can't you? The direct approach, it's like creating this huge gap and daring your audience to leap across it. Of course they're going to get defensive. But his strategy? It built a sturdy bridge out of shared history and logic, and then gently invited the audience to walk across it with him, one step at a time. So, okay, why does a 2,000-year-old sermon in some ancient synagogue matter to us today? Well, because this strategy, find common ground, then build a bridge, is completely and utterly timeless. The source material throws out this really powerful challenge, and it's not just for preachers, it's for all of us. If you had the floor, if you were given the chance on any stage to share your most important idea, a business pitch, a scientific theory, a social cause, a personal passion, what would you say? And maybe more importantly, how would you say it? So in the end, we can distill this whole thing down into a playbook that we can actually use. First, you've got to define your core message. What's that one radical idea you need to share? Second, you have to know your audience, their beliefs, their values, their stories. Third, find that common ground, that place where your story connects with theirs, and you start there. And finally, you build your bridge. You create that logical, respectful path from their world to your idea. And that leaves us with this last thought. True, effective persuasion, it's not about winning an argument. It's not about overwhelming somebody. It's about building a connection. It's about building a bridge. So the question is, what bridge do you need to build?